evening, everyone, and welcome to all the learners from Emeritus and Emeritus. We are here for a guest lecture series by Career Services. I'm Meenakshi and I'll be moderating this session today. Now, if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the Q&A box and I'll bring them up at the end of the session. Now, we have amongst us today the Chief Digital and Data Officer at Edelweiss Tokyo Life Insurance, Mr. Nitin Mukhija. Mr. Mukhija brings over 16 years of rich experience in leading high-performance engineering teams, building scalable distributed systems from ground up. He is a startup enthusiast, and previously, as VP of Engineering at PayU, he was responsible for developing and delivering on technology and product roadmap, contributing to building the payment technology platform which supported the exponential payment volume growth, taking PayU from a startup in 2012 to a profitable organization, processing over $20 billion in 2019. Interestingly, he holds 3 patents of his own, and his experience involves working on big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, services-oriented architecture, and many more. He started his professional career with Microsoft, where he worked for around 6 years and contributed to shipping several products. He was awarded the Gold Star Award at Microsoft for excellent teamwork, consistent performance, passion for quality, and accountability. So get set for a super knowledge-packed session today. Please join me in welcoming our guest, Mr. Nitin Mukhija. The topic for today is digital transformation in Fintech. Mr. Mukhija, welcome, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. And I'm very excited to be part of this session today. Thanks for having me here. It's my pleasure to be part of this audience, and I'm looking forward to an exciting session here. And I'm coming right now in between the end of the weekend, the Friday evening, and the weekend is about to begin. And I'm sure you all must be looking forward to the great weekend ahead. And I hope all of you are doing safe. Everybody's family is doing good. The health is the most important thing, and I hope everyone is taking care of their health and their family members' health as well. I would encourage you to keep the chat box busy. I will be happy to answer as many questions as I can. Without further delay, let's get started. And thank you so much again for joining in the session today. So quickly, I currently work with Edelweiss. It's a 25 years old financial services company with diverse portfolios spanning across credit space, both corporate and retail, investment and advisory on wealth management, asset management, insurance, general and life insurance. We cater to about 1.2 million clients worldwide, and we have about 11,000 employees with 476 offices in India. The agenda for today is I want to cover around pre-pandemic, how organizations were driving their digital strategy, and then how government was enabling various organizations, various businesses in India. And then when pandemic happened, how things evolved, how the customer expectations evolved with that. Particularly, we will go deeper into the impact on Fintech. We'll talk about the digital transformations which various Fintechs are driving right now. And then the key challenges and the key focus areas, which is what I would want to cover today. But I'll be happy to take some additional questions. We'll have the time towards the end as well, or during the course of this conversation. If you have questions, Meenakshi will be facilitating that and you can ask those questions. So let's get started. Quickly, let's go back to the pre-pandemic era. It sometimes looked like a dream that we were roaming around without the mask and all those things. And there was a time 2 years before, when things were pretty normal, the pre-pandemic era, and how India was progressing and things were happening. It was, if you look at that time, it was largely internet and smartphone penetration, which we were talking through. We were saying that, Jio has come up with small internet packs, and how even in the rural areas, how people are using their smartphones, the cheap smartphones with a cheaper internet, and how internet and mobile phones are penetrating to the villages and all. So everybody was talking about that they should have a mobile first strategy. They should have their mobile apps. Mobile apps are very, very important. And we were seeing that, the smartphone penetration reached to 50% of masses as per one of the surveys. And along with that, we were seeing that our government did that demonetization initiative, which pushed us towards the cashless economy. We saw the growth of UPI, which came in, and UPI has been growing 100% year-on-year growth. That's an amazing super growth. And right now we see this UPI QR codes in every kirana or panwala or store. So the largely pre-pandemic, the growth or the digital growth was driven by the internet penetration or the smartphone penetration, plus our push towards the cashless economy, where government was pushing the UPI very, very hard. And those were the driving factors. But then things changed, right? So let's look at what happened. And if you look at what government was doing, they introduced various reforms for easing the business. So for example, throughout this last 5 years of PM Modi and this BJP government has been announcing multiple initiatives, be it removal of, let's say, retrospective taxation, reduction in compliance requirements, simplification of corporate tax structure, and all those things. So various reforms have been introduced. Plus, we are seeing a lot of foreign investment coming in India, where the government is trying to attract those investors by telling them this is the best time to invest in India. And recently, last week itself, our PM Modi also announced the National Startup Day on 16th of Jan. So these are all enablement which government is trying to do. In addition to that, government also announced a flagship program under the India Stack, which essentially is the thought process behind is to make the India digitally empowered and allow the digital economy to grow. So if you look at various initiatives, if you look at this bottom of this pyramid, where we have the identity layer, where Aadhaar is there, making the things presence-less with the digital identity. Then we have the digital locker, which is making the paperless layer. And then we have the payment layer, UPI. So all these three layers are expanding really fast. And we have seen a lot of businesses evolve their business model. How do they do KYC? How do they onboard customer? How do they issue statements through these layers? So these are the big mega initiative which government is driving, and a lot of businesses, Fintech are essentially changing their the way they carry their business, the way they talk to their customers, the way they onboard customer, the way they service customer around these three layers, these three initiatives by the government of India. And at present, there are more initiatives in this India Stack, which is around the consent layer of both health and financial, which are in progress right now. Plus, we are also there's a work on the credit layer, where there's an open credit enablement network which is happening. So these are all driven by the government of India. Great initiatives to push India towards digital economy and drive growth. However, what happened while all this was happening? The pandemic happened, and we know, like, since last about 2 years, we've been living this life of pandemic, where we have seen multiple lockdowns, online classes, be it for our kids' education, colleges, schools, even various hobby classes. All this, my kids also do all their hobby classes online, be it their yoga classes or be it their singing classes, music classes, everything happening online. Plus, for us, working from home, remotely from their native places, online ordering of grocery, food during those lockdown period, where everybody was just doing online ordering. If I take, for example, my instance, okay, before this pandemic, okay, I had never ordered all these groceries, food online. Okay, I always had an habit of going out to the market and fetching all these things. But with pandemic, I've ordered almost all the grocery, food which we get comes online. And this is not just grocery and food. You talk about the electronics, clothes, the platforms like Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal, they have seen phenomenal growth during this pandemic period. Plus, you talk about the Zomato, Swiggy, and all those things. So the e-commerce have boomed with the digital. People moving to digital, people behaviors changing to focus on the online, getting the things online at their doorsteps and all. in addition to that, has been a huge push on that where the people do their digital payments, do their banking, take various financial services. Just to take an example, especially if I talk about the people in the let's say talk about the people my parents' age who are retired right now. So they would never opt for internet banking. So my father would always go to the bank to get the passbook updated. But with this pandemic, okay, he has learned how to check the account using internet banking. Otherwise, he would always frequent the bank just to get the passbook updated. So people are adopting even at all ages. Okay, it's not just that the millennials or the young people are going for the digital banking, but people at all ages are preferring digital services. People say that okay, just send across the statement over email or WhatsApp me the statement. Getting their insurance policies or the health policies digitally. So everything is moving digital. And then you talk about the entertainment, right? We are used to all this Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar and all those things. So all those things are evolving around pandemic. So if we look at it overall, what is happening, okay, with all these things happening during this pandemic, there's a strong push towards a behavioral change which is happening all across the customers, all across the consumers. And what is that behavioral change which is happening all across? If you were to summarize, okay, the behavioral change, which all of these points, okay, and many more, okay, there are many more behavioral change, okay. I could fill in multiple slides because there are so many changes around BFSI, education, transportation, health, retail, which have happened due to the pandemic, okay. But largely, if you look at it, how customer behavior has evolved because of all this, it's around these areas where we have seen the number one, increased demand of digital services, where people are now preferring things digital, where earlier they were asking for physical copies. So we talk about organization now preferring digital documents rather than asking to submit the physical documents. Similarly, the customer are also asking for digital statements and all. So there's an increased demand of digital services. The second is the speed, where the customer is expecting that okay, I want everything very fast. If you want to onboard me, just complete the onboarding journey in few minutes, okay. Don't take days to do that, okay. People want instant gratification, people want it now. That's a habit, that's a psychology, that's a change in behavior consumers are expecting. With the so many choices available, if I have to essentially to open an account, if it takes 10 days versus somebody opens a neobank, comes and opens the account within 5 minutes, okay, I'll prefer a neobank which opens the bank account in 5 minutes. So speed, instant gratification has become a very important factor. Talk about the simplicity. Nobody would want complex things, complex journeys, complex processes, okay. Simplicity is very important. Then talk about the frictionless and paperless experience. Everybody wants hassle-free, okay. People say, okay, just keep it simple, okay. Why there is so much hassles in doing certain area? If I want to, let's say, get some services, place a service request, get an answer, there should be just click of a button, do it yourself experience, okay, to get the things done, to get a service. It should not take a long time, long process, cumbersome process involving paperwork to do things. So these are not the evolving customer expectations. And on top of it, personalization, that's a big one, that's a major one. The customer expect that the organization, the businesses, to know them very well. They say that okay, when I've given you certain data, when I come and engage on your platform, why don't you recognize who am I, what do I really do, what is my need, and you should offer me specific personalized solution basis my need, who I am, okay. Don't ask me repeated questions again and again. Don't show me unnecessary information which I don't require. Show me personalized offering which matter to me and don't waste my time. So these are the evolving customer expectation which have specifically happened just because of the pandemic, where people are moving towards, and a lot of companies who have lot of data, for example, talk about Amazon, okay, Google, Flipkart, okay, all these companies having huge amount of the customer data, they are driving a lot of personalization at their level. but the consumer is same. Today, let's say I purchase on Amazon as well as go and buy a insurance policy. If I get a personalized experience by doing a e-commerce shopping on Amazon.com, I will expect a similar personalized experience when I go to buy an insurance. So that's because I am the same customer. So my expectation from all the businesses I engage with is similar, that okay, everybody should deal or give me personalized experience. So these are very, very significant transformational changes which have happened in the way customers expect businesses to operate. So what does it mean for fintech then? That's a question, okay, and I would want to answer that question in this remaining part of my presentation, that okay, while these behavioral changes have been induced, so what happens in fintech then with these changes? Specifically, if you look at it, some of the changes, the fintechs are already evolving themselves to adapt to these changes. For example, talk about the way people spend and view their money. So there has been already I spoke about, there has been a steep growth in digital payments and UPI already, and which has been growing year on year at 100% growth rate. But if you look at it, there are a lot of super money apps which can track your investments, loan and expenses. They will get all the data. So they have the, I will call it robo investors. Earlier we had financial advisors, where financial advisors, actual people will call up people saying that I can be your financial advisor, provide you all the or solve your all needs, insurance needs, health needs, investment needs, and create a profile for you. But all those things are things of the past. There are super money apps which will track all your financial behavior, how you transact, and offer you a customized offering, because they understand, okay, your risk profile really well basis your transactions, and offer you all those that how you should take care of your retirement need, how you should take care of your, let's say, child education needs, how you should take care of your maybe some house loan, home loan needs, or your marriage planning needs, and all those things. So these are the automatic robo investors which are come up, okay, with these super money apps. Then you talk about the digital lending and credit cards. All the apps, okay, fintech apps. If you visit any fintech app, they'll offer you a pre-approved loan for so and so something or something, right? Which what it has done is it has brought forward even those people under the credit umbrella who otherwise were not covered by the banks. So today, typically if you go for a loan for a bank, okay, they will ask you for a lot of information, lot of documentation, lot of things, okay, that show me your CIBIL score, show me your this data, that data, okay, all the documentation. But with this digital lending and credit cards coming in, you simply sign up on a mobile app and they look at your transactional history, that of how you are doing various transactions, and they're ready to offer you instant pre-approved loan. So this has actually covered a lot of masses, and it's a transformational change, because now anybody has a easy access to the liquidity, easy access to their financial needs to get things done fast. So this is the impact which various fintechs are creating. If you look at there has been increased growth of demat accounts, specifically up here. Since I belong to Edelweiss, I'm seeing that, okay, during this pandemic, lot of investors are moving, seeing that tremendous growth the equities are giving us, and in the mutual fund industry, the industry has moved very, very fast with the increased growth of demat accounts. People are realizing, okay, investing money in equity and mutual funds. A lot of realization has come in, okay, that awareness has increased, okay, where they should, what are the safe bets, FD not giving enough return, okay, that what are the alternate options and where people can actually get good returns. Then I spoke about the various financial planning apps which are coming up, which will give you some advisory also. Auto advisory will happen. Neo banks, completely digital bank, giving exactly or to say carry the bank in your mobile, in your pocket, where you can do everything just online. It's neobank is it's basically completely digital bank without any physical branch, and you wherever you are, you do everything online onboarding, online payments, everything on digital, in your pocket, always 24/7 bank open with you. So there are so many neo banking applications which have come up. Plus there has been a stronger risk awareness also. So where people are now concerned about, people are not bothered that okay, they should have a proper health insurance policy, a proper life insurance policy. A stronger risk awareness has also been there. Plus, as I said, there has been a increase in digital services around insurance, statements, analytics, and recommendation. So ultimately, if you look at it in the fintech space, in this pandemic, there have been more than 2,000 fintech companies which have come up, which is second after United States now. So this is a transformational change. It could not have happened. This pandemic has really accelerated all the digital transformation which possible, with huge investment money flowing in, with government of India supporting this. This is really strong push which we are seeing right now. And it requires a very different strategy in terms of organization when you want to build businesses, when you want to think through okay how they businesses should evolve and do things. It requires a very different things. Okay, I would want to basically spend time on how the businesses are bracing for this change now. Okay, given all these things are happening. So let's look at how businesses are adjusting to this new normal. If you look at it, as I spoke, there has been an acceleration of digital transformation where the spotlight right now has been various digital channels. Earlier, as I was saying that okay, having a mobile app pre-pandemic was one of the top list of the companies, but right now having a mobile experience is a hygiene. It's no longer a delight that okay, a wow experience that you have a mobile app. It's a hygiene. If you don't have a mobile experience, rather no customer will come and visit you, because about 80 to 85% of customers use the business whatever app or whatever website you have on their mobile phone itself. So if you don't have the mobile app optimized experience, you won't get your customer traffic in. So with mobile becoming a hygiene, and with so many channels to interact with, you talk about, let's say, the chat, phone. So all these other channels coming into place. So it's very important that how the businesses offer their or reach their customers effectively through various channels. So it's not just mobile, rather through a live chat experience or a SMS, email, phone call. So all those channels are very important. Plus offering digital product and services, which we were talking about, because the customers are expecting digital things. People don't expect that okay, you come out with physical document onboarding process or a service request process where you have to submit some physical document and get the service request done. So there has been an accelerated digital transformation spot on all these things. But if we overall space, if you look at it, okay, what is happening, and the key, if you go back to what I was talking about 2 slides ago, the changes in the customer behaviors, right? So what is more important is customer experience, which has to be hyper personalized. So what is hyper personalized? Okay, let's first understand okay, what is hyper personalized. Hyper personalized is knowing and offering the customer the right thing at the right time at the right place, knowing what the customer really wants and just offering that at the right time. You must know that okay, that for example the customer, let's take an example of the insurance industry, since I belong to insurance. Okay, you know that okay, some incident has happened in the customer's life and the customer is already in the distress right now. So how do you know that okay, at this moment of time, instead of asking customers to do multiple IVR calls, keeping the customer on wait for whatever 10 minutes, 20 minutes just to talk to an agent, when the customer is already in the distress right now, what is the best way to offer support, help to the customer when an incident has happened, so that a proper claim process can run very efficiently and smoothly, and the customer delight is there with the claim process. Because if the claim process is very bad, the customer will badmouth, customer will never come back to you. So all these things are very important to understand what is the stage where the customer is, what the customer really expect, and offer the right thing. Let's take another example. With so many channels I was talking about, the phone, chat, web, email, SMS, right? So today the customer can start the conversation from one channel. So let's say the customer comes and starts a live chat on the website, but without customer realizing, this chat can actually turn into a live agent talking to the customer, or it can even turn into a co-browsing session where the agent actually starts to co-browse the browser with the customer and helps the customer complete the onboarding journey seamlessly. So you see a chat turning into a live chat turning into a co-browsing experience, and the customer completing the onboarding experience very, very fast, plus a proper communication being flowing to the customer over the WhatsApp, email, SMS, that okay, fine, you are onboarded. Or take another example, the live agent, when the customer calls up, the live agent already knows that this customer was on the website few minutes ago, and the agent is able to offer that, okay, sir, ma'am, you have already created a quote on my website. I can make it very personalized and give you some additional offers, given that, okay, you have shared some additional data with me, and is able to provide those quotes. So these are all the examples of hyper personalized experience where the engagement is not transactional. As I said, it's more customer engagement basis. The focus is on the customer engagement rather than just completing a task that you give me that, I'll give you that. Okay, it's not a transactional relationship. It's more of a knowing the customer, understanding the customer, and offering a personalized offering which the customer really enjoys and brings delight to the customer, that okay, wow, you could understand my needs and offer me something which really I required. The third thing which the organization are doing right now is they're focusing a lot on the employee productivity and collaboration, because ultimately, while the customers are important, but you won't be able to service customers if the organization employees, okay, are not able to work in a very productive and collaborative way. So the companies are focusing on investing in various digital tools, like the medium we're talking on the Zoom call or on the Microsoft Office Microsoft Teams, and other means of collaboration with each other. So there are so many collaboration tools which are available, which allow the employees of the organization to collaborate with each other while working remotely from their base locations. So the organization are investing a lot into employee productivity and collaboration tools. And lastly, information security, with people moving to their native places, with organization, instead of, for example, in our case, we only had about 400 plus offices earlier, but now we have about 11,000, where 11,000 people are there. So 11,000 people working from 11,000 locations. So we have 11,000 offices operating. So how do we bring security to our data, because data is the core driver for all these experiences which we want to create. So it's information security has taken a new shape in itself. There has been a revisit on the security policies, the security posture of the organization, and it requires a very separate webinar in itself, maybe possibly information security in itself, that how organizations are driving their the security posture, strengthening their security in the pandemic area. What are the key areas? How do they take care of the data, whether at rest or in motion, or their PII data, or how do they mask the data? How do they encrypt the data? And what are the various tools they have put in place at various layers? Okay, because security is always a layered security. It's not just one security tool, but it's always a layered security. So a huge focus has been on the information security place when things are moving digitally, and when things move digitally, protecting the data is the foremost and very, very important. So with that, I would want to just quickly run you through the challenges which we are seeing. Okay, what are those challenges and how organizations are possibly tackling those things? We'll discuss those things. So if you look at it, while a lot organizations are doing a lot, as I was discussing in the previous slide, but there are huge challenges right now. Obviously, people were not prepared for that. Something like this have to be done in such a short duration. So it has actually put a huge pressure on the teams in-house to evolve very, very fast. People were not ready for such a drastic or a strong push to stay relevant and go digital, have a relook at their digital strategy. The organization were really not ready for that. Reason being, they were still running the legacy rigid systems which don't talk to each other. So there was many systems where one process will happen in one system which won't talk to another system, and there will be manual or rather lot of people involved in working or collaborating in person through some paperwork. And because there will be manual steps involved, maker checker manual steps involved to get things done. Plus there were a lot of data silos where certain data was lying in one system, certain data in another system which don't talk to each other. How do we bring meaningful insights by combining the data? So all those data silos exist in the systems. And lastly, the manual complex processes are there. So all these three are big hindrance towards digital transformation, which I spoke in the previous slide. And the organization really need to overcome these challenges if they want to accelerate their digital transformation. So this is very, very important to overcome these challenges. So let's focus on the key focus areas where the organization are largely focusing on to solve these challenges. So the key focus area if we talk about are, while there are many, I picked up only top 4 here. I felt okay, these top 4 are really, really important, but you could argue that okay, there are many more focus areas right now to really enable a strong transformation strategy. But the first one I will want to talk about is hiring and upskilling. As I said, focus on building the organization, building the strong employee base who thinks digitally, who thinks data-driven way is very, very important. And with the talent which has moved to all over place with the pandemic, okay, it's very, very it's becoming very, very important for the organization to ensure that they are upskilling people, they are getting the right people onboarded, they are hiring the right talent to help build the foundations right, to help run their digital strategy in. And if you ask me personally, this is one of the biggest challenge which organizations are facing. How do you attract talent? How do you keep the talent engaged to drive the strategy? And personally, if you, I am also trying at Edelweiss hiring a lot. I was talking to the organizer of this a while back, okay, that we are also hiring a lot, and possibly if people are interested to join Edelweiss, okay, I'll be happy to review their profiles as well. So, but this is one of the very, very key focus areas to how do they hire and upskill people. The second focus area has been the API strategy, wherein the organization have to focus on integrating their systems with various partners, with various ecosystem players, with various banks, let's say in case of Fintech world, or with various social media channels, or with various health apps. So why this is important? If you want to really enrich the data which you have to have this deeper API in place. Otherwise, you won't have the complete 360-degree view of the data. So you need to make sure that okay, you are enriching the data which you have by integrating with various ecosystem. Let's say you may want to integrate with some bureau players, let's say Civil and all, to get additional information of the customer. You may want to integrate with various social medias to get more insights about your customers, so that you can do some personalized offering to them. So having a strong API strategy of how you will have various interfaces which will talk to your partners, your consumers, to exchange the information is very, very important. So you no longer can think of some monolithic system which are closed system which don't talk to the outside world. You have to make sure that okay, your architecture, your design involves lot APIs which can integrate with outside, get more data, both in push model, pull model, and your systems really need to be very, very flexible on having these various services in place. The third one is around the cloud adoption, and the fourth one is on the data transformation. These are very, very important. I would actually move to the next slide to talk about these two, cloud and data, in a bit more detail. Where if you look at data right now, you capture various we can capture various kind of data for the customer. So it could be engagement data, it could be behavioral data, it could be transactional data, it could be demographic data, right? But the more data you capture around all these things, the more deeper analytics you can do for the customers, and you can build smart insights. For example, you can see that from the data you can know that okay, why the daily active users is going down, or who are the users who are likely to churn. So all these things you can build by capturing all this data. And what happens when you are able to capture those, build those deep insights, you can actually do those various journey mapping. You can do those targeted campaigns, personalized offers to the customers, so that you do right retargeting, right acquisition, you do the right funnel optimization to offer the customers a hyper personalized do it yourself customized experience. Otherwise you may be doing a blind just like a blind date, a blind campaign which is sent to all the customers, which looks same for all, and for many other customers it will feel like okay, that you are just throwing them with lot of unnecessary information which is not needed by them, which may irritate the customer. But if you tell them okay, here is some personalized offer for you, just for you, because of we have analyzed who you are, we have a lot of data about you, the customer delight will come in. And when the customer delight will come in, the more customers will engage on the platform. So this is something which is very, very important. I call it data flywheel. So the journey starts with capturing more and more data, but as you capture more and more data, you could actually improvise upon it and build a flywheel which will bring in more insights, and more insights will help you build better product. With better product, you'll get more customers in, and with more customers, you get more data. So it goes like this in an infinite loop like this. So for example, if you talk about insurance, right? So I belong to insurance industry. For insurance, getting the as much data, okay, will help us to personalize pricing. So if the customer comes in, I can identify that customer is so and so profile, then I can build a customized premium for that customer, do some personalized pricing for the customer, which I can do only when I am able to capture more and more data about the customer. So the trust part also becomes very, very important. Customers must know that okay, what is the benefit they get by sharing their data. Customers otherwise are very cautious about their privacy, their data sharing, right? So you have to showcase to the customer that if you, let's say, connect your app to your let's say Apple Watch or whatever health watch you use, then with that data you can offer them a better insurance pricing, because we'll know that okay, you are taking, let's say, so many steps per day, and thus you are taking care of your health very, very nicely. So we can offer insurance policy to you at much lower prices. So all those smart insights can be built in by capturing more data. So leveraging the data is very, very important, and the journey for that starts with capturing the data. So you have to capture, and every customer leaves lot of data, be it offline or online. So, and every interaction with the customer is an opportunity to capture the data. So be it transactional data, it could be customer attributes, gender, contact information, preferences, or it could be customer service information. It could be physical form data. It could be social media activities, wearable devices, structured and unstructured data, batch training. So all this insight which I said are very, very important, that you have to firstly, the journey which I was telling in the previous slide actually starts with capturing the data. If you are able to capture the data which I was talking about here, then only you can build this flywheel. So capturing the data is really, really important to start this data flywheel, and hence I call it as data transformation, which I was talking about in my previous slide, that the journey of data transformation is very, very important. It comes with capturing the data, right set of data. So the organization must have a proper strategy in place, that how do they capture the data from all the interventions they have with the customer, and build a unified view for the customers or their data to offer those hyper personalized experiences. So I was actually reading through a report which said that deep learning, okay, so far by 2020, it has generated about 2 trillion of market capitalization. However, it is expected that by 2037, this will generate the deep learning, okay, which is actually genesis of the behind the data itself. So it will generate $30 trillion of market capitalization, way exceeding the internet. So if you look at right now, we are in the internet wave, where the internet has generated $13 trillion of market capitalization as against only $2 trillion for the deep learning. But things are changing very, very fast. The deep learning will overshadow the internet. Just because of the data, will have more market capitalization being generated, which will overshadow the internet wave, and thus it's called as deep learning wave instead of internet wave. And we have already entered, and the pandemic, this report is actually pre-pandemic, and I'm sure that what it says 2037, this must have been reduced now, and we'll soon see this happening, with things moving digital. And we'll have a data transformation coming in very, very fast, and we are already entered that phase. The next piece, which the last out of the focus area I spoke about, the fourth one is on the cloud adoption, which is very, very critical. And why cloud? Firstly, it can handle massive amount of data. We are generating or capturing a huge amount of data. You need systems, you need platforms which can actually process that massive amount of data that and expands infinitely, and only the cloud, if you have those cloud offerings, can do that. So it's important that in your digital strategy, in the organization digital strategy, a huge focus is on the cloud, that how do they capture the data and push it to cloud for crunching those numbers and getting those insights. It further cloud also helps you run various experiments very, very fast, because now you don't need to do a lot of capex investment into your on-premise infrastructure. Rather, you move to the OPEX pay-per-use model, where you can run experiments fast, you can fail early, fail fast. So it embraces all this culture of innovation, experimentation, which is very critical, very important when you want to operate at speed, go live to customer very fast. So operating at speed is very, very important. So cloud helps you in all these principles of failing early, failing fast, and fostering the culture of innovation. I would want to maybe end it by sharing a case study. I found it very interesting, this case study, that how things can actually change with the data. And essentially, if you look at Amazon today, they are able to recommend. So when you go to Amazon for shopping, right, they have millions of items on display. However, when you browse to Amazon, out of those million items, they recommend you 20 items that you might be interested in those 20 items. And that's actually amazing. And if you end up buying at least one of those 20 items, that's a super job they've already done, because they are able to identify out of those million items which they have on their platform, that one item which you really should be buying. So they are able to run a strong prediction algorithm to really identify that this user would be interested in so and so item purchasing, and they offer you that. So Amazon business model right now is you go there, you shop for items, and once you shop for items, they ship those items to you, right? And they are suggesting those items to you. But what is happening is, every time I buy something, the prediction algorithm about you, is becoming more and more strong, because now they are realizing, what are your interests, and if you end up buying one of their recommendations, the recommendation actually learns from that and starts showing you more recommendations. So every purchase from Amazon is actually making the prediction very, very strong. Now imagine this thing, imagine a scenario, which possibly you may see or start experiencing in next few years itself, where the prediction becomes very, very strong, where without you actually going to Amazon and shopping for items, they start shipping you items. So it reverses, where Amazon knows that this person must be running out of stock for so and so things, or this person will need so and so things on this date at this time, so let me just ship that thing to the person. So without you actually shopping for them, because they know who you are, what are your needs, they start shipping to you. So they've changed their models from to shipping and then shopping. So what happens that the items arrive at your doorstep, and you actually feel surprised that yes, you really needed it, and you pick up the items what you need. Rest of the items which you leave, Amazon just takes it back or they take it returned. But for this to happen, their accuracy, their prediction has to be really strong, because they have to balance that, okay, the cost of return should be less than, okay, the cost of increase of wallet share which they are expecting by shipping the goods to you. But sooner they are able to achieve that with the data which they are capturing, it will be very, very hard for any other competitor, Amazon competitor, to catch up with that. But if they adapt this thing very, very fast right now, it could be fair, because it will be the cost of return will be very, very high. So the data, actually, if you look at it, this scenario of changing the business strategy itself with the data, it happened. The data is at the core. How better insights you can draw with the data. So that is very, very critical. So I'll just summarize that while in the fintech world, we are seeing a strong push towards customer experience and hyper personalization, okay, which is the key driver now in the pandemic world. And the data is the new currency up here in this world, in the pandemic world. Yeah, thank you so much. I can take any questions, Meenakshi.
Mr. Mukhija, we actually have a lot seeing the kind of content that you delivered. It was really interesting. So I'll start off with Rajesh's question. So hi there, fintech is completely new to me. So how do we go about learning it, and how does someone like me benefit from it, say while joining a course and making use of it practically as an income source?
Okay, so I think the best way to learn something is learn by doing it. And fintech is a very, very broad area. It's very broad area. It could be banking, financial services, insurance. Okay, there's so many domains over here. Okay, join an organization. Okay, if you're a student, try to do an internship over there. There's no books. Okay, better than doing it. Okay, join. It's a exciting domain. Okay, exciting area to work. So just try to join a firm and work there. Okay, that's the best way. And right now, every business, okay, I talk to a lot of peers, lot of industry other leaders also. Every company is trying to accelerate their digital transformation. Okay, there's a lot of opportunities to learn, and they need strong people, strong talent. Okay, so just get your hands dirty. Okay, that's the best way I can answer that.
The next question is from Anurag Rostagi. So how is auditing getting digitalized, and what do you see in its future?
Okay, great question. So auditing, I suppose you meant about the information security piece, right? Possibly how do we generate the system trails, who is using what. So what I can actually throw out some detail. Okay, what we do right now, there are a lot of tools which allow us to monitor digitally. Plus there's a huge amount of and with the data being generated, there are a machine learning algorithm available which will analyze all the event patterns which we generate. So for example, there are SOC alerts which are built in with every user activity you do on your machine, on the server, on your laptop, which are analyzed by those AI engines, which will actually tell you that okay, what a user is doing, and if there is some alert alarm, they will throw those alert alarm if they find something suspicious happening. So this audit, okay, it has actually started to happening, which was actually earlier happening more in a physical or not inefficient way, is moving through. I would say it's being digitized, as well as more robots are monitoring those logs, because a huge amount of logs are being generated, and there are tools available. Those SIEM tools are there which help us do that.
Natasha Nair has a question that the pandemic was a huge driving factor in digitalizing India and changing customer behavior. However, had it not been for the lockdown, how long do you think it would have taken us in India to go digital?
I think this pandemic has actually accelerated by at least 5 years. Okay, so whatever, for example, I'll take an example. Some of the initiatives which we completed within few months of the lockdown happening, within let's say 2-3 months, okay, were in our next 2 years roadmap.
Right. What are the prospects of digital marketing analytics in financial services, and what are the trends? This is a question from Prince.
Absolutely important, and which I spoke about in my slide about capturing the data. The more and more data, okay, this marketing, okay, or digital analytics tool which you integrate on your front end experiences are the exact tools which you would want in your apps, which customers use in your mobile app, in your web app, so that you capture all the kind of behavioral event data about the customer and build those insights. So absolutely important, absolutely critical in today's world. And this is the way you capture the data in the entire digital transformation which organizations are doing. The layer, the foundation of that is data. So with these tools only you can actually get the data, do those build those insights, and plus then drive those specialized campaigns, offers to the customer. So absolutely important, and important stage to carry.
For the next question, I'm merging 4 questions which are all on customer security in the digital transformation. So has the concern for security disappeared in the Indian market, and what is the reason for increased trustworthiness among fintech apps in B2C? And how do you convince customers on this transformation?
Actually, very nice question. I must appreciate this question, but however, I'll just answer firstly that okay, it's not disappeared, rather it has increased. If you look at the organization side, if you find an organization who has leaked their data, okay, you'll lose the trust. You'll never share your data with the organization. So information security, as the concerns have increased with all these ransomware attacks and all those things, there's an increased focus right now on the data security. The data is the new currency. Every organization is trying to protect their currency. With all their digital strategy is driven through data. So the information security has taken a increased, okay, I can't even mention that, okay, increased focus. Okay, if you ask me, a lot of my time, okay, gets spent into reviewing the information security area, okay, with my risk team and all. So it has, and because if you don't protect your data, the customer trust won't come in. The customer expect, okay, that whatever data they are sharing, that must be protected. Now with that, a lot of apps are also coming in, wherein they take a lot of your data. However, you must be very cautious. I will just say, okay, don't just share your data on any app. Okay, there are a lot of and which is what I was reading a report other day. Okay, while there are so many fintechs coming up, okay, there are a lot of unauthorized, unregulated businesses which are also running, okay, which are simply just trying to hack up or compromise your account details, compromise your whatever your account details and all, and hack it into it. Okay, just be very watchful, careful about it. Okay, don't just blindly trust any other app which is coming up and start sharing the data. It's very, very important that the awareness, because that's the first level of security, and that's what we also tell all employees, that you are the first line of defense for us, and a proper customer awareness, employee awareness is very, very important. So while various apps are coming up which will prompt you to share the data, but be very cautious. Okay, don't just share the data. Rather you should just look at it, the credentials of the app, what the app is trying to do, why they need the data, read about their terms and conditions, what will they do if you share the data, will they be sharing this data further anywhere, okay, or how sharing this data will help you or get some personalized offering. So just be watchful before you share anything. Okay, don't just feel that okay, information security has disappeared. Rather it's becoming very, very important right now. And as a customer of any any app, okay, I will say, okay, just keep your eyes, ear open, okay, or what is happening around.
Right. In fact, the next 2 questions are also on the same topic. So Loken also asks that what is the fintech industry actually doing in safeguarding personal information of their customers?
Yeah, so I think if you look at the regulator, be it RBI, SEBI or IRDA, okay, there are strict policies, procedures which they are coming up, okay, and they are mandating various organizations in all the space, whether it's payment space, okay, asset management, wealth management, or the insurance space. Okay, these regulators are doing a very strict monitoring to ensure that okay, all these companies stay compliant. They have proper controls, security controls in place and they do regular periodic monitoring and reporting of those controls to ensure that okay, the data of the customer is in safe hands. There are, for example, already there was a few years ago there was a initiative where we said okay, the data of the Indian customer cannot go outside India. Okay, that was the first one. But right now there are far more tighter rules which are there in terms of complying to, let's say, regular security health checks which we have to do, submit the reports on a regular basis to the regulator. So all those controls are in place, very very important. Okay, strict controls are in place to do that. It includes things like how do you mask the data, how do you identify the personal data, how do you keep the data encrypted, how do you have those multi-layer security, be it your not just physical security but rather the system security, the firewalls and all, the controls in place, the antivirus things, the data leakage policies, how do you have those various systems authentication controls. And so I would say okay, multi-level securities have to be put in place to stay compliant, which is what each of the regulator is strongly driving also.
So for the next question, in relation to the case study on Amazon, as a customer I hate to be tracked, and as a result I do not want those services who are tracking my day-to-day activities. How will fintech companies overcome this problem?
Okay, so I think that yes, trust is the most important factor, and I was actually answering a bit of this in the previous question as well. The customers will share their data only to the businesses they trust. So building a trust is very very important, and this is one of the problem area which businesses have to solve for. If the customer don't trust them, the customer won't share the data, and the customer don't share the data, they can't run their data flywheel. So for businesses, the first and foremost thing is building the trust. The trust comes with how do they take care of the customer experience. So for example, if I am able to know my customer, for example, customer has shared something with me and I am able to just take a very simple example. Customer shares some basic information with me, and when I a few days or few months later when I'm talking to the customer, if I know that okay, this data about the customer, and I don't ask the same information again, the customer knows that okay, fine, he's talking to someone who knows about me. Okay, I should not be starting again with the basic information that okay, please tell me your name, please tell me your phone number, please tell me your email ID, when I've already shared that information with you. Okay, so it automatically brings a trust that okay, that I'm talking to a business okay who already knows about me. Then it comes about okay, then if I am able to offer them something which they really need, so then it builds a trust that okay, wow, they care for me, they know that okay, what I need. For example, if if they identify that okay, this person possibly is getting married, or this person has kids who will be going to the school, college soon. Okay, so this person may have some financial need for the same. So the person will build a trust with the organization, saying that okay, wow, the organization knows me and they can offer me something which I really need. So the trust builds over the period. It takes time, but if the trust is not built, the customer will not share the data. So as I said, and data is really important for any transformation to be done. So building trust, and very appropriate question. Okay, trust is the foremost okay baseline for I will say it comes first, building trust, and then the customer will share the data, is rightly asked. Okay, so the organization have to focus on thinking through how they engage with the customer. They should not be doing a transactional relationship with the customer, rather thinking through okay, how they can seamlessly engage the customer, so that the customer starts to build the trust that okay, fine, this organization can actually solve my needs. They don't run the business, rather they're concerned, they're putting the customer first. So if you try to put the customer first and everything else is secondary, I think the trust starts to build up, but it takes time. It takes huge effort to ensure that okay, the customer interest are taken care of, and then only the trust will evolve.
Right. Thank you so much. So I actually have a lot of questions flowing in, but due to the paucity of time, I'm taking up one last question. Ms. Trupti asks that she has 13 years of experience with retail banking and is now transitioning into fintech and upskilling herself with ISD courses. Do you think that her customer-facing experience and providing instant financial solutions can be useful in fintech organizations?
Absolutely useful. The customers, as I was answering, the customer, the person who has handled the customer and keep the customer engaged and help build the trust is very, very important. If you have done a great job in dealing with the customers and working on building the trust with the customer, okay, that's absolutely essential. So I'll just may possibly go back to the previous slide. There's a strong push towards customer experience and hyper personalization. So if you have been working on the customer experience piece, so that's what there's a strong push towards.
So thank you so much, Mr. Mukhija, for taking out your time for us. I mean, the number of questions hold testament to the fact about what an amazing session this has been. We've actually gained a lot of perspective and a lot of knowledge about the different terms. So now we are going into the weekend with a lot of insights and a lot of food for thought as well as to how to build and progress ourselves, our career, etc. So once again, on behalf of all the learners at Emeritus and Emeritus, thank you so much. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for your time here. And all the learners, thank you so much for spending time with us and making this session so successful. Have a happy weekend ahead.
Thank you so much. Have a safe time.